Welcome everyone. This is Charlie Arlinson, aka Golden God, aka Brazen. I am streaming the first round of the OCS playoffs, the match between Bastion and Ryan, who are Zlorfik and R Sersen. That will be starting momentarily, and let's for just a second, let's take a look at the brackets right now. So this is the first round, and we are going to be watching the game in the bottom right corner versus the with a 3 seed versus the 14 seed. All right, let's jump into it. Looks like we got Shadow Collective, Bastion playing Shadow Collective, and Yoda communing from Ryan. Edit some stuff really quick. And I will be streaming both games. They're playing both games back to back, so we will get to see the results and who advances. And take a look at one more thing. Alright, let's get rid of that. Looks relatively standard. The Yoda commuting, I'm guessing, is sort of like a Team 5 type version with the farm, and if it plays anything like theirs, they'll pull the cantina with Yoda and try to put Luke there turn 1. You might potentially not want to do that against Maul just because you can move in front of you, but you do get they do have to do it on your turn, so you can always respond. Pretty standard start. Maul pulls the stick, looks like he got one of his sights in his opening hand, so that usually helps. And he doesn't move, so he's staying at the chambers. And he didn't get his 2-0, so only activating 9 doesn't give him a lot of flexibility, but activating 9, that's okay. I'm just going to open up. Can you hear me? Did everyone hear me? I just started looking at the chat, so. Yeah, pull the chat. Pop up chat, here we go. Alright. Slight echo? Okay. I don't know if I can do anything about that, to be honest. Maybe. If I have two, doesn't look like I have 2 audio inputs, so. Alright. Some background humming. It just might be a bad mic, to be honest. Or it's my PC, which is on its last leg. Yeah. Yeah. don't know. I never got to see the droid build of this. I heard it's good. I heard they play like 9 BB9s, which is ridiculous. But I guess if you cut half the high destiny cards for BB9s, then it doesn't change much. You don't get his stick though, which I guess you don't need necessarily. I do. It's hard for me not to play Shadow Collective without Maul's stick. It like really acts as a deterrent to mess with Maul, and I feel like something people generally don't do is go after Maul just because they think like he's difficult to kill. And I think that sometimes people play too loose with Maul, and you can do that. And other times, mostly in the mains matchup, it's not a good idea to go after Maul. But I guess it's very situational. That stick, though, it really helps. Alright, so he played farm. He didn't pull the cantina because I guess he didn't have Luke to go there. And he found his Jedi Council chambers. So that's helpful. And there's no pressure right now. Bastion saved 5 force. So looking at 17 force next turn, possibly 19 if he does play Cantina. I mean, I don't think there's any point playing Cantina in this matchup, probably, because you just don't want to give him activation, and they give you plenty of sites to go to. Granted, it's a drain 3, but usually if you're controlling controlling most of the battlegrounds, you're winning, so doing damage is kind of like doing force drain damage is kind of a secondary goal. He plays Leia, gets a use pop pull, plays Rey, gets a use pop pull, plays a blast rifle. Blast rifle is great in this matchup. Plays Anakin's stick. Only has 5 force left, so I assume he'll save. Even if he doesn't have it, threatening clash is good, which is a reason to save like 3. But I don't know if you'd ever play First Strike this early as a Shadow Collective player. Also, not putting a Jedi down allows prevents Maul from moving over there. I don't think you care too much about this as Bastion, though. I don't think you would attack it. It's a drain of 2. You can always match a drain of 2, especially now that there's 4 battlegrounds out. If he spreads out on his locations, he'll 100% win the drain race, especially like if he puts another Luke down and drains for 3, then he can just cap it with ultimatum. See, he's not activating 17 now. 12 in hand versus 11. They have comparable hand sizes, which means that I think that he probably won't attack the farm and he'll just spread out. So you see Prince Caesar. Also, thinking about from Bastion's perspective, the characters that he can attack with, if you are playing Luke, every character you put down prevents Luke to come to that location. So obviously, his attacking characters, now Anakin's not an attacking character because the stick's out, which leaves it to basically Mace and Qui-Gon. Obviously there's a couple others if you play like sticks, like EPPs, which you can play EPPs in this. You can't play Obi-Wan, obviously, but you can play like Ahsoka, I guess. Yeah, make sure in the chat there's a survey Solid Snake posted. That's a really good, helpful survey to gauge the community sentiment on different things going on with the game and how the players committee can better serve the community. It's really important that everyone fills that out. I think you have till, I want to say November 7th or something to fill it out. Maybe November 3rd. Something like that. So you have a couple weeks, maybe a week. Just do it now. Get it out of the way. Okay, November 7th is the deadline. So you have some time. So we have 2 locations with gangsters at him. He flipped. Now he's going to ping one. And Prince Caesar prevents like a lone Anakin from doing anything now. But Kira's pretty vulnerable. And also Maul is slightly vulnerable too. He's only immune to 5. And he doesn't have Phantom Menace out. So that is an avenue of attack. Stunning Leader's live, Barrier's live, so there are ways that he could prevent an attack too. I think Ryan's best bet is to use Qui-Gon and attack something. With a double swing, your Qui-Gon's probably going to die against Maul. And then, like, one thing you always have to consider is if you do attack Maul, and you don't overflow him, which is generally kind of hard to do unless you like play extra characters, then no escape can just negate your entire attack, right? Like you can just pull them all back in your hand. And if he has another or on the flip side, you can always download them all every turn. So if you do kill him, he can just come back. Granted, he won't be at a battleground if he pulls them from his deck, but you have to think like, is slowing Maul down worth it? Especially if you have cards that cancel destinies in some fashion. Pulls Battle Order, which is the right call, I think. Obviously, like you don't want to pay for drains if you're only doing drains of 1 everywhere, but it's more a matter of who's draining first in this situation, especially if you don't think you need all of your shields. Yeah. So he pays to drains for 2, and he loses Danik Jericho and Sith Fury. And then he pulls Cantina. So it looks like we're going to have a bit of a drain race that is definitely in Shadow Collective's favor. Okay, so he pulls Cantina, and then I think he probably pulled it with Yoda so he could get a 0 out of his deck, and now he's attacking Prince Caesar with Mace Windu. Now, one thing to remember that a lot of people have been playing Jedi Business lately, and that makes Mace Windu immune to attrition. All attrition, even if you cancel his text. But this deck does not play Jedi Business, so he's only immune to 6, but he could potentially be immune to 8 if he was Maul. And this is effectively immune to 8 with Yoda's Hut, because you can -2 from attrition against him. Pending a 7, drawing a 7 off the top, or a 6 +1, and he does have Weeses in his deck, so that 6 could miss, but pending a 7, Mace will probably not die here. He draws a 5/4, initiates battle, draws a 5/4, and hits, and then Prince Caesar's going to go for a shot. There's a 7. Wow. Must be nice. So that's an 8 if needed. That hits Mace. That's unfortunate for Ryan. When you, yeah, when you pack 3 to 4 7s like that in your deck, it does happen. Not for me when I'm playing Shadow Collective, but it does happen. So that flips him. That negates any chance of overflow because he can now add a Destiny to attrition. And now he's going to draw again, and drawing again I guess just gives you another look at what's in your deck if you don't shuffle. Looks like he must have top decked the Boo. I guess I missed that. Top deck Boston Chambers, which I don't think you care that much. Okay, so he's clashing because he doesn't want to get overflowed, I think. Which feels like maybe not the... So if you see a 7 come out of the deck, you have to think, okay, there's one less. Well, he did shuffle it, so he shuffled it. So I guess if he did draw like a 5-5, that's 10, that's 15. So this clash is probably right. If you don't have a Comm'g, then this is probably correct. The way he's setting it up is he's trying to raise him more, I think. Oh yeah, Mace has his forfeit, that's true. Good point. Yeah. Alright, so yeah, those guns don't reduce your forfeit. Yeah, so the clash was pointless, I think we all can agree. Maybe he forgot. He must have forgot. That's okay, it happens, especially on a stage. So everything dies, no destinies are drawn. That is true, that's a good point. So clashing prevents the weapon from going back, so that's one less weapon in his deck. And then, you know, pending he has a no escape in his hand. Because he did put the gun on top. I would say the value, I think you would rather have a clash. Like initiating a battle or going for overflow with a clash maybe is better. But alright, so he puts the saber on top. It looks like he's going to try to retreat it. I don't know if he's going to be able to. But if you use the Yoda tech, or the communing text to sync cards, you can eventually get to your lightsaber and retrieve it when you do satisfy for coward. He moves Leia and Rey over to the 2-2, and then does not draw. So he's at 10. He'll be dead, does 1 damage, loses a sense from deck. So that's relatively... So he loses a sense. It means he has sense and he has no sense shields out. So maybe Bastion's kind of regretting capping himself. But Bastion, I think, notoriously plays Cold Feet, so I think he probably has a way to play. Unless he did play Cold Feet and I missed it for one of those, but I think a lot of his decks usually pack Cold Feet. $17 force, 12 cards in hand. I think he would have played No Escape already if he had it. It looks like he's attacking. So he does have 1 card for Leia's Blast Rifle, but with Dr. E down, he could potentially just kill Leia. Now, I'm guessing Ryan doesn't have... He possibly has quite a Mercenary V in his hand. Maybe he looked to see if it was in his use pile, because I think... Or his force pile, because being able to take that with Rey and just turn Dr. E off is better than just losing Leia, not being able to use her gun anyways. because if he does operate anyone here, then he won't draw Destiny now since he has Prince Caesar out. Hondo comes down, he still has 6 force, so he can use Hondo to pull R Sersen. And there's R Sersen. I assume he'll get 1 gun out. So he's staring at 16 power. There's a Black Sun Blaster. He puts it on Hondo. Usually you put your gun on someone it's expendable, that is going to die if it's in a stack. If you think you're going to sink the gun, obviously. If you don't think you're going to sink the gun, then you would put it on like Prince Caesar. Has another gun, puts it on Maul, so now he's setting up 2 damage. I wonder if that was why he flashed. Maybe it was. Maybe he just wanted to get a gun out. So he flips, does not recirculate, and initiates battle. Aura is shooting at Ray, so he's avoiding blast for deflection, and draws a 3, so that misses even if he adds. Adds a Destiny. Job is through with you. That is a card not seen too much lately, but always decent. Destiny 5 use interrupt. Pays 1 to shoot at Hondo and draws a 4. So that's unfortunate because he minuses 1. It's a miss. And I think he probably maybe should have gone for Dr. E, but I guess you don't know. You don't know you're going to draw a 3. There's the cold feet I was talking about. Looks like he's going to execute Ray. Operate Ray, I should say. There goes Ray. Now he cannot draw because of Prince Caesar. Prevents opponent from drawing more than 1 battle destiny with rebel leadership. I don't think you do that unless you have unless you don't have a Comm'g. You can't add 1 because you can't draw, but you would maybe save it if you had a Comm'g. Probably save it if you have a Comm'g. Well, he draws a 12, so it's going to be a 13 plus 24 to 4. So he's got 20 overflow. Yikes. That's a lot of damage. And he lost nothing. Alright. I think it's safe to say that he should have saved his clash. Anyways. If he did not miss by 1 on Hondo, that is a very different fight. Um, missing by one would have let him draw Destiny. Would have let him. He would have been down 4 power. He wouldn't have gotten overflowed, I don't think. He drew a 4. So it would have been a 4 for Destiny, potentially a 9 for Destiny if he added one. So it would have been 17 to 24, 20. He wouldn't have drawn a 7 either. So yeah, he wouldn't have gotten overflowed. And if he had the clash too, that could have clashed out someone that got hit. Yeah, that's the thing about mains is it seems much more straightforward than other matchups, but the decisions you make on a few cards are vital to the success of the deck versus the decisions you make in a control matchup where you're planning on mitigating damage until you reach a state on the board that's controllable. So it's more about future planning. And I think sometimes people think control decks are harder to play, but I think a lot of times if you don't make the correct decisions, and there's not very many of them with a mains deck, then you won't have that great of success. So like that one clash swing the whole game for sure, or like that one draw, because if he sees his deck and sees a lot of 3s and knows that a 3 is going to miss Hondo, then you just go for Dr. E. So he puts Qui-Gon down with Meditation and his stick, and then he puts Luke at the farm so he can get a use pile pull. He only has 13 force left, 2 in hand. Bastion's looking at 27 and 7 in hand. Yoda does 2 damage. And at this point, Bastion is comfortably running away and doing damage until it's over. And he'll still most likely have around 20 plus cards left in his deck. So yeah, drain a 3 here. Drain a 2. And he can lose everything from his hand. So I'm guessing we're looking at, unless he plays Jabba's Torps, a win by 27. So yeah, we have this match now, and after that, later today, I will be streaming Connor and Gavin's game at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Central. So you're looking at 2 hours. Differential does matter. The differential is what determines the winner between both sides. So after this, they'll switch sides, and if Ryan somehow wins by 28, if it is 27, then he wins the match. And decks are locked in before the match starts. So it prevents things like, I won by 5, so I'm going to play a deck that like grinds the game to a halt, so I only lose by less. So now we see Jabba. sure what the point of that is. I assume he'll move someone over, or 2 or 3. Runs Kira away. It's only a drain of 2. Uses walk lanes. He's going to retrieve on the run. And RC moves over. Honda moves over. Yeah, I don't even know if he needs to do anything really, but he could have probably just ate the damage. If he sacks, so if he moves everyone but one guy, there is the possibility that he runs over, but so they will be no match for you to move Maul in front of Qui-Gon. Now that he has no force to fight, yeah. So that's win by 27 from Bastion. And it looks like 41 in loss versus 6. Plus is very weird looking. Okay, so Francis, want to tell me what your light side is? Maybe we can save some time. Yoda muning. He tells him Yoda muning. Okay, I was signing up for Legend. Won't beat that by nearly enough. I'll concede the match. So Ryan concedes the match to Bastion, and Bastion is going to advance. And we'll take another look at the brackets here. So Bastion moves on, and he will be playing either Drew or Mike from Team New Allies, and that matchup will be Thursday, I believe, at 8:30. So tomorrow we have a slew of games. We have Paul Myers, Greg Shaw at 11 a.m. Eastern. All these are in Eastern. They're possibly playing both games, depending on how long it takes. The first game, I assume. Joe versus Baroni, which is at 3 p.m. Eastern. Just one game. Matthew Harrison Trainer versus Bill Kafer, Taco Bell, at 7 p.m. Game 2, and the winner of the first game was Bill by 13, and that was Legend. He won as Legend, so it'll be Darkside tomorrow against the Bat Maul deck, I think they call it. It's the Combat Response Maul's Chambers SSA deck, I think. And then we have Mike Kessling versus Drew at 8:30 Eastern, and that'll be both games tomorrow. Yes, Ryan scooped, and the winner is Bastion. Yes. So in about 2 hours, I will be back, and I will be streaming Connor and Gavin's game 1. And I don't know if they're playing both games. They might be. I'm not 100% sure of that. But I will see you all in about 2 hours. Thanks for watching.